Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session. So we are going to see list data structures and looping concept in Python. So we have already seen for loops and if and else conditions. So now we are going to check with the while loop. And once we see while loop, we'll quickly go back to the data structures, which are list and tuple, sets and dictionary. So this is today's agenda. So let's quickly begin. So why do we use while loop? See, firstly, looping is used to execute a certain number of programming lines a number of times, repeatedly execute something. So here with while loop, what do we do? So we can just, we just check for the condition. Like how we check for the conditions in for loop. In the similar way, we check for the conditions in while loop also, but it keeps running as long as the condition is true. So the moment the condition becomes false, the loop will stop executing. So you can just imagine it as if, you have to keep doing this while the condition is true. So the syntax will be while condition colon and code to run. So here in the condition part, we'll mention the condition whether I greater than 1, I less than or equals to 5. So until and unless the condition is true, the code block executes inside the loop. So once the condition becomes false, the code stops executing. So this is the basic syntax of the while loop. So example is this: I is equal to 1, while I less than or equals to 5, print I, and then you need to increment it. So this is the difference between for loop and while loop. Okay. So in for loop, we were incrementing. The auto increment used to happen with the variable I, and we need to mention it inside the for loop statement. But here the incrementing the loop variable I, which will do inside the loop, will not do in the statement of the while, but will do inside the loop. So that is the difference between for loop and while loop, where you increment it once you execute the loop. So initially we have to initialize the I variables also, which is not there in the for loop. It looks kind of complex, the while loop, but it is used multiple times for creating infinite loops, or if I have a particular condition, so I use while loop. Okay. And if I know the previously, if I know, how many iterations are there and how many times I need to repeatedly execute a certain number of statements, if I'm very clear about the number of repetitions, I can use for loop. If I'm not clear about the number of repetitions and I need to see until and unless a condition is false, I need to execute a number of statements repeatedly, then I'll use while loop. So that's the difference between for loop and while loop. So here quickly, there are two things. I, which is a loop variable, I need to initialize it. Before I go ahead and create the while loop, I need to initialize it, which is I is equal to 1. I have already initialized it. So then I will be 1 already. So 1 is less than or equals to 5. True, right? Whenever it is true, it goes inside the loop. So print will happen. And then we are incrementing the I, which is I plus equals to 1. You already know the assignment operators. I is equal to I plus 1, which is I becomes 2. So then again, it goes back to while loop. 2 is less than or equals to 5, true. Again, it prints 2. So again, 2 is incremented by 1, 3. Again, 3 less than or equals to 5, that's also true, printed. And then 3 plus 1, 4. Again, 4 less than or equals to 5, true, printed. And again, it goes back 5, 5 less than or equals to 5. That's also true because it has less than or equals to. So that's also true. And again, 5 is also printed. But once it is again incremented to 6, 6 is not less than or equals to 5. 6 is greater than 5. So it won't be executing. It is false here. So whenever the condition is false, it stops executing the loop. So this is the condition of while loop. I just can create one here for a sample while loop. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be printed. It's just connecting to the console in a while. See. So if I want to increment, I just can give 9 here. 1 to 9 will be printed. So this is how the mechanism of the while loop. Now let's see some use cases also. Okay, what happens if I don't update I here? I'm just commenting this. See, this is an infinite loop. I mean, it's keep on running. It's like infinitely running so many times. So huge number of times it's keep on running. It's really hard for me to stop it also. I need to stop running actually. Okay, now I stopped running. See, keyboard interrupt. So now I interrupted, that's why it stopped running. Otherwise, while loop is famously used to create infinite loops like this. Okay. So that is one thing. So now if I increment the loop, then only I'll be able to get a proper output in while loop. That is one thing. And so if I want to create an infinite loop intentionally, for example, if you want to take the user input, okay. So if you want to take the user input, the user will be providing the input. So until and unless the user gives you the input, you cannot continue the program. Okay. If that is the case, what can you do? You can do one thing, you can create an infinite while loop. How and why? Because until and unless user gives you the input, you cannot continue, isn't it? So you can make sure you keep inside the infinite loop, and once the user enters the input, then only you continue. Otherwise, there is no need to continue. So that's how the infinite loop works. Let's just try one infinite loop. So how do we create an infinite loop with the help of the while? It's like this. While true, whatever happens, the condition is true. So that means the code block inside the while loop keeps on executing always. While true, print, running forever. See, it keeps running. See, it keeps running. It cannot stop until and unless I click on the interrupt button. So that is how I create an infinite loop by myself. So that's the use case of while loop to create an infinite loop. Okay, I can try out break inside while. Break is it's something which breaks the loop completely. Okay, so let's just I is equal to 1. And while I less than or equals to 10, print I, if I equals to 5, break. Okay. Then, if it is not equals to 5, you just can print the value of the I, that's it. Okay. So then, okay, you need to increment the loop variable, otherwise it will be end up in infinite loop. So just I is equal to I plus 1. See, I is equal to 1 initially. So 1 less than or equals to 10, true. So if I is equal to 5, no. 1 is not equals to 5. So it won't break from the loop. It just prints. Same thing happens with 2, 3, 4. Once it reaches 5, it comes here into the loop. goes inside the loop, I is equal to 5 is true. So it breaks from the loop completely. So now, I just have break the loop when the I reaches 5. So I get only four iterations. One, two, three, four. Four times the loop is executed successfully. The fifth iteration, I have braked. Okay. So I've broken from the loop already. So that is one thing. And using continue also we can try. So using continue, I want to skip any iteration. We have done it in for loop. If I equals to 7, I need to skip this iteration and then continue the rest of it. Okay. Remember to increment it, otherwise it goes into infinite loop. So now you see it is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Seventh iteration is skipped already. Okay, okay. I need to increment over here. So see, because if I increment it after printing, see, it won't take because it's already skipped, isn't it? So once it skips, it won't continue. But here, if I increment it before, it will take the next iteration. So I less than or equals to 10, I was 1, and then I was made 2. So here I can do one thing, I can start from 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is skipped. See, whenever I reaches 7, it's skipping that iteration, and then rest of the values are printing. So that is using continue. For loop, you see, whenever, so for loop, when we know how many times we have to execute the loop, we will use for loop. While loop, when we don't know how many times, but we know, the conditions are there. If I want to take the user inputs, if anyone is logging with user ID and password, and if any gaming loops you need to create, you can use while loops. For example, while battery is greater than 0, phone on, like this. Similar with the for loop, if while loop ends successfully, then only I can execute the else statement. If I want to create any else statement, suppose, okay. So just give it here. See, once it completes the loop, which is all the 10 iterations, and then it reaches to the else portion, and then it prints loop ended successfully. So that's about for loop and while loop. I think it was in detail, and you could have understood it in a very better manner. Let's go to data structures. So, you know what is a data structures? I briefed you last time. So, data structure is nothing but the structure of the data, like how do you store it in the Python memory? How the data is stored. The data is stored as a part of list, as a part of dictionary, as a part of tuples, as a part of sets, like way. So, how do we arrange the data? With the help of list. We have created a list earlier, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have accessed it with the help of indexing, which is pretty much the list indexing we have implemented, but in detail we'll see once more now. And with the for loop also we have used list also. Let's go back, start with the data structure. So the first data structure which we are going to see is list. So what is a list? A list is nothing but a sequence of elements. Okay. So a sequence of elements you can arrange sequentially, right? Just put one element one after the other. You can arrange fruits, you can arrange numbers, you can arrange alphabets, words, sentences, anything. And the one special thing here is you can do the mix of data types also. So that is nothing but list. So list one can be, you have to use the square parenthesis, the big parenthesis. Okay. Inside that, I need to arrange elements. I can arrange any number of elements. I can arrange different data types, maybe 1, comma 1.5, because one is integer, one is float, and one is the number, I mean, sorry, the name, and the one is the letter. So like this, I can give a lot of different data types inside. So now I need to print this list. I can use print function. Done. So this is my list which is created by me. So now coming to the indexing. So indexing, I told you, it's like a positions or array, right? If you want to find the position of one which is present in this list, you will be using a position. Where does uh, this find, like, how do you find it? Where does this is placed? So where can you find one? You can find with the help of the position, right? So if you want to find your friend in your maybe in your classrooms, or in your colleges, maybe you want to find your friend. Okay, where is she? Okay, in which desk she is there? So is she in the last desk, or is she in the front desk? So you'll find it, right, with the help of the position. Similarly, here with the help of the position numbers, indexing numbers, you can find the elements of the list. So for example, this is placed in the 0th position. If I write down here, So if I just write here, okay, so index positions I'll write here. Index is equal to, see, this is in the zeroth position, this is in the first position, this is in the second position, this is in the third position. Okay, now you understood that. So, if I want to access now, okay, I need to call an element of the list. So I just use the list name, list one is the list name, and use this parenthesis. And inside the parenthesis, you just mention the index number, okay. So if I want to access Naga here, I'll use 2. 2 as the index. See, Naga is accessed. So now, I need to access so many elements in between. How do I access? So it's print list name, and there is a range of indexes present. So I need 0 to 2. So zeroth index is 1, and then after 0 to 2, that means 0, 1, 2. Correct. So the last element will not come. I mean, the 2 here, the second position or the final element position, which is mentioned here, will not come as a part of the answer. Indexing always takes from beginning to n minus 1 or beginning to end element minus 1 position. Okay, so beginning is 0, okay, that will come fine, and next one will come fine, but the second element will not come. Always the end positions won't apply in indexing. In indexing, the last positions won't apply. It happens, or it applies in almost all indexing in Python. So that is how the zeroth is 1, and then the first element is 1.5 that have come here. Second element won't come. So this is range of indexing. How do I apply? And there is one more special thing I can tell you, the reverse indexing. So reverse indexing, maybe. So the reverse indexing, for example, you just see, okay, how does the reverse indexing starts? If you want to write, okay, below this, reverse index, okay, it's this. So reverse index is equal to, it starts from the last element of the list, and it starts from -1, okay. And then this Naga will be -2, and this will be -3. This will be -4. So this is how reverse indexing works. Understood? So -1, -2, -3, -4. Now I have given -1 to -3. Actually, I cannot give -1 to -3 because this will be happening reverse way. I need to give -3 to -1. I mean, the lower to higher, right? Always the starting position and the stopping position here. The starting position will be lower and the ending position will be higher. So -3 is the lesser number, -1 is the higher number. See, -3, which is there, Naga is there. -2, sorry, -3 is 1.5, 1.5. And then -2, which is Naga. -1 will not come. I told you the last position will not come. So -3 to -1 it is. I can just, 1.5 to Naga. And I want to have this 1 also. I just can give -4. 1.5 Naga. So this is reverse indexing, accessing the list using reverse indexing. There is one more speciality. See here, double colon means skipping, okay? So double colon, which is in the first position, 1.5, okay? I mean from positive, not negative indexing, positive indexing. First position is 1.5 and the second position is Naga is skipped. So just take the other one, the K. So you need to skip by one position if I give 1 colon colon 2. So if I give 1 colon colon 1, it won't skip. 0, 1, skip by one position, take the Naga. Okay, that's done. And if I give skip by next, three positions are skipped. 0, 1, 2, third position is come. Here, no skipping. 0, 1, 2, 3 because I've given only one. So this is how double colon works. And I can use this double colon to reverse the list also. Now, this is how I reverse a list. So you just start from -1 and provide all the elements. I mean, start from the beginning of the list and, reverse it. So this is a very important interview type of question. Okay, they ask you in the interviews also, how do you reverse a list? So you reverse a list using this colon colon -1. So this is about list indexing. I think the rest of the details, the list, appending a list and adding a list, inserting into the list, other list operations and the other data structures, we'll see in the next session. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day. Bye bye.